Hi, my name is Gabby, and I'm going to be talking about disaster management in Sweden. So in 1944, the Swedish Civil Defense Board was created. They served as a central management of civil defense, which included disaster management. In 1986, the Swedish Agency for Civil Emergency Planning was created, and that shared emergency management responsibility with authorities. Those authorities were either regional, local, or national. In 1999, the Commission on Vulnerability and Security in a New Era was founded, and they worked together as a team to look at the different problems of disaster management in Sweden and how they could fix that. So in 2001, the Swedish Emergency Management Agency was created, also known as SEMA. They served for civil protection, public safety, emergency management, and civil defense. Then in 2004, the Civil Protection Act was brought into law. It was made in 2003. That served as an organizational framework for SEMA, and they kind of outlined how to further protect citizens from major accidents and crises. Then in 2009, after a tsunami in Thailand and Cyclone Gudrun, the Swedish Civil Contingencies Agency, also known as the MSB, was created. And that is their current agency for disaster management. They help the country of Sweden prepare for major accidents, crises, and the consequences of war. So in 1977, we see the Tuve landslide. That was the largest landslide in recorded history of Sweden. And then in 1986, when Prime Minister Olof Palme was walking home, he was assassinated. Those were two early large catalysts that created the better emergency management system in Sweden. But then in 2004, at the end, we see a tsunami in Thailand, and that tsunami injured about 1,500 Swedes and equaled about 550 deaths. It was the worst European country hit by the disaster because Swedes were vacationing there. Then about 2 weeks later, Cyclone Gudrun, a large tropical storm, turned into a mini hurricane, got rid of 75 million square feet of trees, which was equal to a year's harvest. About 400,000 people were left without electricity, and 7 people died. There are 290 municipalities in Sweden. They conduct risk and vulnerability assessments. They cooperate with county administrative boards, and they organize regular training and exercises for politicians and officials. Then above those 290 municipalities, 21 regions control them. So those regions coordinate tasks regarding civil protection and defense. They also conduct risk and vulnerability assessments, and they support municipalities in their risk planning and exercises. On a national level, the Swedish Civil Contingencies Agency manages and coordinates national measures within and between all levels of governance. They operate on the principles of responsibility, parity, and proximity to the extent that no one else is responsible. And those people that are responsible are first the municipalities, and then the regions, and then it is brought to on a national level. It is led by a sector-led authority and a crisis management secretariat. That sector-led authority is the Minister for Justice and Home Affairs, and that is under the Ministry of Justice. There are natural and man-made hazards and disasters that can occur. The natural hazards can be multiple types of slides, such as landslides, rock slides, mudslides, even like ice slides. Then man-made disasters can be infrastructure related, so bridge collapses and electric power grid disruptions. And then train and ferry accidents and or crashes can occur. So in conclusion, a good question to ask is, what are the potential obstacles to their disaster management system? Definitely the bottom-up approach is a potential obstacle. Things can be lost in translation or communication through this approach, and response and recovery might not be significant enough to help citizens, especially if something on a small scale is actually brought to large scale, then the necessary disaster management that needs to occur might not occur. So there might be confusion between public and private sectors, or potentially the national government. And a good thing, an important thing to note is that some obstacles that can also contribute to their disaster management system is climate change. Also, that can create worse storms and or natural disasters. Then we have infrastructure related accidents and global threats, but such as terrorism. But it's important to know that Sweden does have a good disaster management system in place, but the bottom up approach does have its limits. And with the current obstacles that we face daily,